Tuesday, everyone. We got some strength coming at you. We're going to change formats again, going back to a little bit more slower pace, working on some lower numbers, maybe some heavier weight, but adding in some tempo. So we're going to have some fun times today. To get us going, we're going to do a dynamic triangle for 3 to 5 aside, sumo squat for 1, sumo good morning for 1. We did that in yesterday's warm-up as well. Really nice way to start opening up the hips and the glutes. We're going to do that for 3 to 5 reps. Goblet squat for 3 at a 303 tempo. Narrow squat for 1 to narrow good morning for 1, 3 to 5 reps, and we'll hit that for 2 to 3 rounds, just to kind of get the body fired up, hamstrings fired up, and ready to go. Our first work set today, again, is going to be 3 to 5 rounds of this piece right here with a little bit of rest in between movements so you don't have to feel like you have to rush. Because remember, it's not a Metcon, but we don't want to wait too long in between these rounds because we want to kind of build that kind of cumulative fatigue. So what we have is a single leg RDL for 5 to 8 aside at a 3-second negative. Resting 20 seconds. Then you're going to move into your next exercise, which is a side lunge of 6 to 10 alternating reps at a 303 tempo. Then you're going to rest 20 seconds. You're going to move into that goblet squat, 8 to 10 at a 303 tempo. And you're going to rock that 40-second rest in between rounds. So it's going to be a nice little chunk of work there for you guys to tackle. It's going to be a lot of lower body, but we're going to bring it all together with that goblet squat at the end. So single leg work into our double-legged goblet squat. Once you're done now, we're going to move back into some upper body and core work today. And it's a little bit more focused on body weight stuff today. It's a little bit more gymnastics-y work. So we have 3 to 5 rounds. Plank lean for 8 to 10 alternating with a 1 to 3 second pause per side. So we're going to work on really gripping into the floor, working on that good position, and have some fun with that positioning work and that shoulder engagement. 20 seconds of rest gives you some time to lower down to the floor, and you're going to work on a prone shoulder raiser for 8 to 10 alternating reps, working at a 1 to 3 second pause again as well. So we're going to work on tacking into that shoulder while still maintaining that good hollow body position. After that, we have 20 seconds, and then you're going to move into an arch hold, but a little different. We're going to work an upper body only arch hold. So we're going to keep our legs down, squeezing together, pressing into the floor, and only work on that upper body portion of the arch hold, and I'll walk you through that. That's going to be a 10 to 20 second hold, and then like the first piece, you're going to get a 40-second rest in between those rounds, and we'll tackle it down. So in between exercises, you have that little quick 20-second transitional rest, and then you move into 40 seconds in between the rounds. Let's get you warmed up. Let's get ready for action. We'll have some fun today. All right, you guys. Let's get you guys fired up, get you guys ready. Let's get our feet under those hips. Let's take the arms up big and tall. We're going to reach over to one side. We're going to come back up and over to the other side. Coming back up through, we're going to shrug those shoulders. We're going to come down with those shoulders. We're going to scratch our back and reach through that side body. Come back up, big stretch. Scratch your back, reach through that side body. Come back up, big stretch. And then forward fold all the way to the floor. Let's touch those toes. We'll walk up the shins, we'll come down. We're going to frame a foot, and we're going to step it back into our lizard. We're going to take that inside hand on that front foot, lock it in place. We're going to turn away from that leg towards the hand. Come back to center, turn away towards that hand, back to center, and away towards the hand, and back to center. We'll lower the back knee, press the hip, come to center, press the hip, back to center, and press the hip, and back to center. We're going to plant the hand, straighten the leg, step back into our down dog, reaching those hips. We're going to come back into our plank, stepping that other foot up, planting that hand on top of that foot. We're going to turn the torso, come back to center, turn the torso, back to center, and turn the torso, back to center. We're going to lower that knee, press the hip, back to center, press the hip, to center, press the hip, and back to center. We're going to plant the hand, straighten up the leg, step back into that down dog, reaching those hips, come back into that plank. We're going to tiptoe those feet all the way up, roll ourselves up, big stretch, big clap, big reach, and a reach, good, come down with those hands. Let's get you fired up. All right, so if you'd like to do some more gentle kind of warm up, please do so. Pause the video, take that down. I'm gonna get you guys moving into that first phase of warm up which is gonna kind of cover the entire body. So we're gonna take care of that pretty well. But let's get you guys ready to go. All right, we're gonna start in our sumo stance. We're gonna stay there for a couple reps and couple rounds of these exercises. So our sumo stance, just outside of our normal squat stance, we're gonna turn a toe to the side. We're gonna turn the other toe on the ankle. Hand comes to the thigh, we're gonna reach up with the arm, and we're gonna push that hip back into that heel as we get that nice hinge. And we take that hand all the way down to the foot, reaching that arm up to the sky. We're gonna come right back up, keeping that arm up to the sky. So again, it's very important we get this hinge, pulling that hip into the heel as we lower down to the floor. We come back up, reaching that arm to the sky, and then again, repeating that repetition. So it's not fast. We want to make sure we're pulling into that hip, keeping those legs straight, and keeping that core engaged just enough so that we have that good tall body posture. All right? From there, we change sides, and we just want to make sure that when we do change directions, that we make sure our feet stay proper distance and proper width so we have enough space to get that hinge on the other side. Once we've gone through the dynamic triangle on both sides, we're going to come back into that sumo stance. Toes are going to be slightly turned out. We're going to stand nice and tall with a good squeeze of the glute. We're going to push the knees out pretty hard, a little bit more so than a normal squat, and then we're going to stand up nice and tall. Once we're done with that squat, we're going to squeeze our glutes and pull our hips back into our good morning. And then we stand tall and we set. From here, again, what we want to think about is that good squat mechanics. We take our hips to the heels, the knees go out, we focus on that tall posture, and we stand really well out of that squat. Setting, pulling the hips back, softening the knees in that hinge, and then we stand tall as we feel those hamstrings. So a nice flow back and forth. You don't have to rush those, take your time. One per movement for 3 to 5 reps. We'll come back in. We're gonna rock some goblet squats next. So this is just gonna get you kind of fired up for the goblet squat, give you a chance to feel a little bit of load here, or you can do a regular air squat. It's up to you, depending on where you're at in your warm-up and what you need to do for yourself. But regardless, air squat or goblet squat, it's the exact same stance and position, except you're not holding that dumbbell under the chin. So I'm gonna turn profile. So for the goblet squat, regular squat stance, I bring my hands up and under the chin. I'm pressing into that dumbbell a little bit to keep my upper body engaged. I'm going to pull the hips to the heels, keeping the knees slightly out. Staying tall, I'm going to squeeze and stand, pushing through those feet as I open up those hips all the way. All right? So again, if you don't want to use the goblets, that's fine. You don't have to do the goblet. You can do the air squat. Same rules apply. We pull the hips to the heels. My chest stays upright. I stand tall, opening up those hips and knees at the top. Continue on. From there, what we're going to do is continue on with a little bit more squatting and some good mornings with a narrow stance. So we've just done something in our regular squat stance. So anything inside that regular squat stance would be considered your narrow squat stance. So whatever you feel comfortable with, rock it, set your feet up. What you're going to do is you're going to pull the hips to the heels, keeping everything nice and tall, tight, upright and strong. Once you hit that end range, you stand tall. We squeeze at the top and we pull the hips back. Keeping those knees soft and keeping that back super long, we find that nice hinge to touch on the hamstrings. You may find it feels slightly different than it does in the sumo stance, and that's okay. We're just touching on the downward part of the leg to keep you guys nice and strong and active. You're going to take that down 1 and 1 for 3 to 5 reps. Quick little recap. We have a dynamic triangle, 3 to 5 aside. Sumo squat for 1 to sumo good morning for 1, 3 to 5 times. Goblet squat for 3 at a 3:03 tempo, so slow down, slow up. Narrow squat for 1 to a narrow good morning for 1, 3 to 5 times. 2 to 3 rounds, rock that, you guys, take it down. Take your time with that, make sure everything's feeling pretty good. If you want to add anything else in there, please do so. And then we're going to come down to that first work set. So pause the video, warm yourself up, come on and join me for that first little work set. All right, so our first work set consists of a single leg RDL. So we can do this one of 2 ways. Depending on how comfortable you are with this, you can do it unloaded with the tempo, which is a great activator for those hamstrings, or you can load it. So I'm going to show you first unloaded from the side. I'm going to get my feet under my hips. My toe is going to be touching the floor as a little kickstand. I'm going to squeeze my glutes, sets my hips nice and strong. Shoulders are set. I'm gonna squeeze the imaginary dumbbell so my upper body's engaged. I'm gonna pull the hip back at the hip crease. I'm gonna take my hands down to my knee so I feel that good engagement in my hamstring and my glute. Then I squeeze and stand tall. So from here, we're setting at the top again. We pull back 3 seconds down to the knee. Hit that position, stand tall. So we're working on that good hinge that we practiced in our good mornings earlier in our warm-up. Now, if you're gonna load this, you can hold the dumbbell a couple different ways. You can hold it to the front by 2 bells, which keeps things pretty balanced as we take it down to the knee, and then we stand tall. You can hold it on the same side as that balancing leg, nice and tall and solid. As we take the hip back, the hand just comes down to the knee. Or we can take that hand to the side of the leg that's balancing. And this is a little challenge because what this might do, it might pull you a little bit more to that side. So we do have to focus on staying square in our body and our hips so we're not shifting too much over and get pulled off balance. Neither of those positions are better or worse. They're just slightly different. So again, I encourage you to practice each one, maybe not all in this work set, but as you see the single leg RDL pop up, you can always play around with the positioning of that dumbbell because it's going to change the engagement just a bit. Once you're done with that, I need this dumbbell, you are going to rest for 20 seconds. Then you're going to do a side lunge, goblet style or unloaded. It's up to you. So with the goblet style side lunge, what we do is get that wide stance. We hold the dumbbell under the chin. I'm going to take my feet out nice and long and straight. And I'm going to pull my hip to my heel, keeping that dumbbell close and keeping my torso upright. You might find with the dumbbell in the goblet position, you may not be able to get as deep in that side lunge, and that's okay. Right? I want you to listen to your body position in terms of its posture. If you're like, Dave, the side lunge, hard enough as it is without any load, that's okay. Take it down, working on staying upright and strong. Good 3-second tempo down, 3-second tempo up. 3-second tempo down, 3-second tempo up. Nice and smooth, opening the hips up at the top every rep to make sure we get that nice tall position. We take those down, 6 to 10 reps. Pick your adventure on that one, set yourself up with a good number of reps, and then we move into our goblet squat for 8 to 10 at a 303. So, our goblet squat, again, we talked about that in our warm-up. Our feet, nice natural position for our squat. Dumbbell stays upright. The only difference that we have going on is that we have a few more reps now, all right? So we have 8 to 10. Just from the front here, I want you to see that goblet squat. So the knees are tracking the toes, so they stay nice and solid, and then we come back up nice and tall. So if you need more review of that goblet squat, scroll back to the warm-up where we covered it in full. But we want to think we got 8 to 10, so you can play around with some heavier loads, maybe a little lighter load, or if you did the empty weight in the warm-up, you can play around with a little bit of lighter loading in that goblet squat for our work set. As a quick recap for our first work set, we have 3 to 5 rounds, depending on how much volume you'd like today. Single leg RDL for 5 to 8 per side at a 3-second negative. Rest 20 seconds. Side lunge for 6 to 10 alternating at a 303 tempo. Rest 20 seconds. Goblet squat for 8 to 10 reps, 303 tempo. Rest 40 seconds. Do it again. So we got lots of rest involved in there, some transitional rest, but it's going to start to get pretty tiring as we go through those rounds. So focus on your quality, have some fun with it, and then once you're done, we'll move over to our upper body and our kind of gymnastics kind of core piece. So pause the video, take down that lower body piece, come on back, we're going to talk about some gymnastics. All right, our gymnastics work set starts off, again, like our other one, 3 to 5 rounds. So depending on how much volume you like, you can choose whatever rounds you like. We're going to start off with a plank lean. And normally we do these quite often in our warm-ups. So we want to play with this a little bit more focused, working on that good positions, trying to stay as square as we can. So there's a few things you can play with. I'm going to stay facing forward this one so you can see my hands and my shoulders. My plank, again, my hands are just outside my shoulders. I'm going to pull my ribs and hips in, press my shoulders up to the sky, and I'm going to keep them there. So from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep my shoulders over my hands, and I'm going to pull myself over, keeping my hands flat. And then I come back through, over to the other side. I'm gonna hold 1 to 3 seconds per side. So that's variation number 1, keeping my hands flat on the floor. Variation number 2 allows us to go a little further and load our hand a little bit more. So what I'm gonna do, same setup, I'm gonna get set, ribs in, grip the floor, I pull over so my hand comes a little bit off the floor, fingers are still on the floor, and then I come back through, pull over, fingers come off the floor, so I'm loading this hand a little bit more, and I come back. So we can experiment with that and see where we go, see how we feel as we get ourselves moving through that plank. The more we feel comfortable on that single arm, the little less weight we can take off of this, or the little more weight we can take off of that hand for support. So play with it to see how you feel. Only take it as far as your wrist and your shoulder will allow you to support, right, and staying strong in position. From our 8 to 10 reps there, total count, you're gonna do 1 to 3 second holds. You're gonna rest 20 seconds, and then we're gonna move on to our stomach, which is our prone shoulder raise, which again, we're gonna work 8 to 10 reps, total count, with a 1 to 3 second pause per position. So we get ourselves set up, toes together, pressed into the floor. Ribs and hips come in, press the armpits down, press the palms down. And from here, we're gonna maintain this tension and lift one arm, reaching and lifting so we stay active through that shoulder. We press it into the floor, we reach and lift, keeping that neck position, keeping that armpit pointing to the floor, press it in. So I want you guys to make sure that we're activating and pressing into the floor after we've lifted that arm. We come down, press and stabilize, then we move to the other arm. So it's not a fast movement. It's press and stabilize, lift. Press and stabilize, lift. So it's a ton of time under tension. So if you need to break those reps up and be like, you need to take a moment, you can take a moment, it's okay. And that's why there's a range as well. So if you're like 8 to 10, that's really tough for me. I think I'm gonna stick with 8 and try and go straight through. Awesome. But focus on that engagement as we go through and that good quality movement. Resting 20 seconds, then you stay in your stomach. We're gonna do an upper body only arch hold. So it's kind of fun. We got 10 to 20 seconds in this hold. So from that prone arm raise, we're gonna keep our toes together. We're gonna keep pressing them into the floor. Ribs and hips kind of pull in a bit. Our glutes are tight. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a big breath in, and we're gonna inhale up with the upper body only. We're gonna reach forward, keeping those toes together, thinking about length, keeping those arms reaching across the room, squeezing the toes, squeezing the glutes, and just working on that upper body half of our arch hold. So we're just isolating that upper body portion. Very important to squeeze the glutes because that's gonna keep that pelvis kind of set and it's gonna help stabilize that low back, all right? So really focus on those glutes, those toes pressing into the floor. It's gonna feel kind of weird because we're really used to doing a full arch. So we wanna make sure we're just focusing on that upper body today and we'll see where it takes us. So, as a quick recap for our second work set, we have 3 to 5 rounds. Plank lean for 8 to 10 reps, 1 to 3 second holds. Rest 20 seconds. Prone shoulder raise, 8 to 10 alternating, 1 to 3 second holds. Rest 20 seconds. Arch hold, upper body only, 10 to 20 seconds. Rest 40, do it again. To your desired volume, so 3 to 5 rounds. This is a great way to kind of take down a little less intensity after yesterday's dumbbell thruster and burpee kind of variation or experience. That is high intensity and quick. This will be a little slower, a little chance to kind of work on some good positioning, some different loading, see how it feels. But as always, you guys, I hope you enjoy. I hope you have a ton of fun with this one, and let's work for quality and enjoy this lovely day of strength. Until tomorrow, we'll have some fun. Have a great day. See you very soon. Bye.